Welcome back, ladies and gents. Today I'm going to teach you how to play the song Kind from Plini's latest EP Sunhead. This is part 1 of 2. Alright everyone, a few things to note before we start. We're playing in half step down. That's A string to E, half step down, and the low E string is tuned to 1.5 step down so that we get that drop D tuning power chords. In the description down below you're going to find a table of contents. Now this lesson is pretty long, so do pace yourself and come back to the video, go to the table of contents and click through the part of the song where you left off so that you can continue. Okay, let's get our guitars in tune and let's jump right in. Okay, for the intro of the song, we're playing a riff that is in a very odd tempo. I myself don't even know what the time signature is. I just kind of learned by listening and playing along with the song. What absolutely is a must is having a click track to the tempo of the song so that you know when the solo guitar is going to start, so that you can start with it. So we're going to start with the slide on the A string on 4, then 2 on the low E palm muted. We're going back to the A string, 3, vibrato, open note, A string. Then we're going to the D string, palm mute once, 4, and then play it open note 4 and slide to 6. Then we have on the G string 4, 6 and B string 5, palm muting on the G string. We're going to go back on the low E, 4, 3, palm muted, open note, A string, 2 on the A string, and then open note, low E. Okay, from there we're moving on to the next part of that riff, which is sliding into 4 again. But this time we're staying on the A string, playing 4, 7, 3, open note. After the open note, you're going to be picking a little faster. A string 4, 7, and then D string 4, 6, with the 6th note not being palm muted. And then we're playing open note 4 without palm mute on the D string, and then 6, 4 on the A palm muted. Then we're going to bar the 3rd fret. We're going to play 3 on the D string, and then play 3 and 4 on the low E. With our index finger, we're moving on to the G string 2, and then placing with our ring finger 4 on the low E. And to finish the riff off, we're going to scratch the strings twice, and then we're going to play G string, B string, G string 4th note with our index finger, middle finger, 5th note on the B. We're going to slide these 2 notes all the way to 6 and 7. So you slide them onto 7 and then slide back to 4 and 5. And then play it. vibrato. So the second time when you're repeating the riff right after the open note 0, so right after this part, you have a little lick that's been injected in there. That is the following. Okay, so that's 9 on the A string. It's all palm muted, by the way. So 9, move on to 7 on the D. From there it's going to be 7, 9, 11, back to 9, 7, 9, 7, and then 9, 7 on the A string. Now we're moving into the heavy part of the riff. It's really fun to play. Okay, we're going to start off with open note 0 on the low E, 2, and then 4. We're sliding into 4. So after that slide, you're going to play open note A string, 2 on the A string, and then you're going to slide into 4 on the A string, and then you're going to palm mute 2 and 0 on the A string, and then 4 on the low E palm muted. Okay, for the next part we're playing 4, 3, and 2 on the A string, giving it a little bit of a vibrato. And then when you're at the 2, you're going to play 2, then open note. Once you're playing that open note, you're going to mute it again with your index finger and then play low E open note. If you don't mute it, it's going to sound a little too distorted. Or maybe you like that, you can play that however you like with the studio version. And then you're going to palm mute 2 and open note on the low E. Then you're going to kind of start the riff again, but there are some slight variations and the ending is different, of course. So after you do the palm mute 2 and open note, then you're just going to start again, open note E string, 2, 4, then you have this part. So after the 4, you're going to place your pinky on 7 on the low E. You're going to be picking all the notes. So that's 7, then you're going to bar A string 4, and then with that same bar index finger 4 on the D, and then play 6 without palm mute. It's kind of the same as the intro riff part. From there, you're going to go back to 4 on the D string, palm mute 6 and 4 on the A string, and then same as the intro riff, 3 on the D string, low E 3, 4, index finger 2 on the G, and then 4 on the low E. Going to scratch twice, same ending as the intro. In this part of the song, we're switching to a clean tone, and we're going to be hiding our pick right here. I put it in my ring finger, as you can see there. That's where I hide it so that I can play with my fingers. You're going to be playing first low E open note, and then with your pinky barring the 5th fret, 5 on the B and E. And then you're going to pick 2 on the low E, move your middle and index finger 5, 4, B and E string. Then you're going to grab your pick again, quick motion, pick 4 on the D string, and then 2 and 4 on the G string. With your pinky, pick 5 on the B, go back to the G string, 4, 2. Then you're going to be using your ring finger on the D string 7 and your middle finger on the G string 6. And you're going to be slowly building up a chord as you're strumming. So we're going to start off on 7 and 6. And we're going to be adding our pinky on the 7 on the G and slowly playing the whole chord. First we're starting with 2 strings, then you add 3 and then the whole chord. Take a look at the pattern. 7, release 7, back to 7. Whole chord. Then we're moving on higher up on the fretboard. It's kind of the same pattern, also sounds very similar. Finger pick, low E, open note. Pinky and middle finger on the B string 10, pinky on the E string 12. Then instead of going to the low 2, we're placing our index finger on the 7 on the A string. And placing, barring our ring finger on the 9th notes on the G and B. Then we grab our pick, play 6 on the D, go to 7 on the D, bar 7, add middle finger 9 on the G, and then pick 9, 7. So. And you let it ring out. Then you're going to shift a little lower on the fretboard, 7 on the D, barring the 6th fretboard, G and B string. You're going to be using your pick and these 2 fingers to play all 3 notes. Adding your ring finger onto the 7 on the B, slide away, play 0, open note on the low E, bar 7 starting from the D string, all the notes. Then you're going to be picking, open note, A string, and strumming slowly all the way down with a hammer on the last string from 7 to 9. So, take a look. From here, it gets very tricky. It's a really fast pentatonic run. You're going to pull off from that note to 7, so 9, 7. Then you're going to hammer on with your pinky on 10, pull off the 7, go to 9 on the following string, pull off the 7, following string 9, pull off the 7, and then following string 9, pull off the 7. So here we're starting off with the leads, really gnarly and melodic as always from Plini. We're going to start off first on the B string 5 and 6th note on the G. That's 5, 6, and then twice 5. Then you're going to slide to 10, hammer on from 7 to 9, that's all still on the B string. So. From there you're going to shift your finger over onto the G string 9th fret, slide from 9 to 6. Go back to the 9 with your index finger, hammer on, pull off 11, 9. Then you're going to move on to the D string, same notes, pull off 11 to 9. and then 7 to 9. Then we're going to start back on the 5 on the B string with the 6 on the G. So this time adding a few more notes in between. You're going to play 5 twice. You're going to mute the string with your left and right hand, and it's going to just sound, well, muted. So twice, mute the G string, play it once, play 6 on the G, go back twice on the 5. Then you're going to slide to 10. In that same slide you go to 12, and then slide back to 9. You're going to go to the E string, 12, 14, staccato notes. Then you're going to do a little bit of a pentatonic run from the B string, pull off to 14, 12, G string, pull off 14, 11, and then pick D string 14. So you have the staccato notes and then the pull-offs. From there you're going to play 11, 14 hammer-on pull-off. Then you're going to slide into 14 on the B string. So slide into 14, slide back to 12, pick 12, and then slide to 17. Alright, now we're jumping into the good stuff. For this part of the lead section, we're going to be starting off on the low E string on the 7th fret, and we're going to palm mute the first 6 notes, and it's going to be 3 notes per string legato. So we're going to start off on 7, it's 7, 9, 11. Okay? Legato meaning you only pick it once and you hammer on the rest of the notes. Take a look. And then you string skip A, go to D, same pattern, 3 notes. Then you're going to string skip again, string skip the G, move on to the B string. Also continuing the legato, you're simply going to pick the 9th note, hammer on to 10, and then with your pinky you're going to pick 12 on the high E. Now we're going to go back, descending, back to the B string, pull off 10 to 9. From here it's a legato pentatonic run. Go to the G string, pull off 11, 9. Go to the D string, pull off 11, 9. And then lastly 11 on the A string, palm mute. From there you're going to go back on the D string, you're going to pick 9, slide to 7. You're going to then go back to the A, mute 9. And then you're going to go back to the D string, slide from 7 to 6. And then you're going to pick A string 7, slide on over to 4. Go back to 7, and then you're going to hammer on, pull off 7, 9, 7. Move on lower to the fretboard, pull off 4 to 2 on the A string, and then open note A string, hammer on 2. And then lastly for this section, we're moving higher up on the fretboard. We're going to play the same little fill or lick that you play in the intro riff actually. Just very simply D string 7, 9, 11, 9, 7, 9, 7, and then 9, 7 on the A string. So for the last section of the lead, we're going to move higher on the fretboard, the higher notes. We're going to start off in the low E, hammer on 12 to 14. This is palm muted with legato, the first 5 notes. So that's 12 to 14. And then you're going to go on to string skip the A string, go to the D string, pick 11, then you're going to hammer on 12 and 14. And then you're going to stop palm muting, you're going to string skip the G string, move on to the B string, pick 12, hammer on 14, 15. With your pinky, pick 17, and then you're going to descend pentatonic legato, back to 15, pull off to 14, go to the G string, pull off 16, 14, go on to the next string, D string, pull off 16, 14, and then lastly 16 on the A. You're going to then slide into the G string 14, pick 16, go back to 13, vibrato, and then here we have another legato. This one is very tricky. It takes some coordination with the right hand and a nice little stretch at the end. Take a look at it slowly first, and especially looking at my right hand, how I'm picking it. Alright, so I'm going to go through the ups and down strokes of my right hand. You're going to first downstroke legato on the D string, hammer on from 4 to 5. See, that's downstroke. Then you're going to upstroke G string 4 and hammer on from 4 to 7. With your same pinky, you're going to be barring the 7th fret, and then you're going to downstroke 7 on the B. You're going to upstroke 3 on the high E, hammer on 7 with your pinky, pull off to 3, and then downstroke 7 on the B. From there we move on higher up on the fretboard. You're going to start on the G string, hammer on 10 to 13. This is all legato. B string 10 to 12, hammer on. E string, hammer on, pull off 10, 12, 10. Move back upwards. Pull off 12 to 10 on the B. This time on the G string we're pulling off from 13 to 9, so it's a little bit of a stretch. Then you're going to move on to the D string, pull off 9, 7, slide to 6. Move on to the A string, 7, pull off to 5, slide to 4. And then you're going to play a little chord. That's 4 that you're holding, that last note, adding 4 on the G string and 5 on the B string. Thanks a lot for watching part 1 of this series. This is going to be a series of 2 parts only, so don't worry, it's not going to be a bunch. Stay tuned for part 2 next week. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you want to stick around for more, be sure to subscribe. And if you have any comments regarding this lesson or any other guitar related topics, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you all again in part 2.